You were talking about the demand side, which now we are in a comfort zone. In 2015-16, our demand was only 54 kg per capita. Shameful. And we tried to get into the crux of it, and that's why steel industry was cyclical. So we did reverse engineering. We said, let's work on demand. And we found the entire shift was going to cement and concrete construction of bridges, roads, etc., then steel intensive. So one correction we did was in the general financial rule, which had cost for trades. So we introduced the word life cycle cost. That made the whole difference, and steel became a winner. And I'm very happy to see that today demand is taken for granted, that it is going to grow, and I think in 2030 policy will reach by 160 kg per capita, and now they are working even beyond that. So that reverse engineering is sort of going to trigger for the expansion, and we are where we are on the right track. So this is a comfortable position we are in. Yeah, I compliment Steel Ministry is the only one who has come with PLI 1, PLI 1.1 and PLI 2. And they are focused on the kind of materials, as your topic is on green, even what is used in transformer, what you call amorphous steel. Now even they will be competitive to get the advantage of PLI, and I understand some investment from Japan is coming somewhere in Andhra Pradesh. So today 100,000 tons we import. Out of that, if we are able to make green amorphous steel in India to replace, because our requirement is 140,000, 40,000 we make 100,000 more, and of amorphous steel, it is going to make a lot of difference there. So we are quite on right tracks here, which will require a lot of help. What has been said very well about this dumping and safeguard duty, India has always been WTO compliant, and result of safeguard duty was now POSCO is investing in India. That was the only one we were struggling to ask them to stop imports of hot rolled coil from their parent country, South Korea. But now I think they have aligned with some of the Indian company and they are putting it. So finally POSCO is going to have a blast furnace in India. So which is very good sign. Very intelligently they have used these WTO compliant duties and we are moving ahead with it. So that has been a great point. Scrap, I think 10 years down the line, we will become self-sufficient, but it's going to take that kind of a time for us to reach because then a combination of after beneficiation pellets, scrap plus fresh iron ore, I think we will be on the right track. So let's see how it goes when we are moving ahead with it. He has very rightly flagged about weaponization of steel, and it has happened. We have seen in all trade deals that is happening. It is used at it. So therefore, we have to apply to not just WTO compliant barriers but non-tariff barriers also. Which quality, the ministry has put it very well. Quality standards, they are insisting upon it, and that is the transforming factor. So we have to resort to non-tariff barriers for our own interest. So to conclude what the two experts have put in, and looking at lack of time, I think I'll wrap up now, is one, we have to come up very clearly on the beneficiation royalty concept. It is on the verge of issue, but that verge is more than 6 months, 7 months. So that verge has to be accelerated so that we will get a good 62% FE as an input into the manufacturing of steel, a uniformed input. So I think that will go a long way. Then I have already made a mention of this WTO compliant and non-tariff barriers. We have to work in self-interest, absolutely crystal clear on that. Our consumption in the present policy is also going to be very, very high, like I mentioned, and our exports we are thinking of around 30%, which today is less than 10%, 8 to 9% import-export, we keep on working on it. Our biggest lacuna is specialized steel. We don't seem to be moving in that direction much. So that dependency is something we have to work upon. But he has rightly said, in inputs we are dependent. So coking coal, if we get alternate fuel of hydrogen, which you are very positive about, I think that will be transformer. We'll shift to the gas-based steel making for a high quality and normal steels. That is going to be a transformative factor, very rightly explained by him. And there is a need to create for a fund for capex, which is because in India there are three things: the power cost, the logistic cost, as well as your credit costs. So if you are able to create that kind of a fund which will provide it cheaper, it will make a difference. Because what has happened actually after the NCLT episodes, because in 15 it was a sinking sector, 16 then we tried to work upon it, in 17 it started growing, NCLT was resolved by putting it on the bench and then go ahead with it. After that, all expansions, now he has worked with Tata and now you are with JSW, is your savings and lesser of credit. That is a pattern now every company is following. The worst hit has been PSUs because PSU can never be defaulters, so they never got advantage of haircut. People don't appreciate this. You know, the PSU did not get haircut. They can never be defaulter. They may be having problem. They were paying their whatever installments they were supposed to pay on their credit. At that time, it was 40-50,000 crores of rupees, and they did not get any advantage of haircut, which the private acquired companies got it, and they did not. So we must appreciate that PSU is not only servicing the debt, they are also competing with the private sector and doing a good service. So generally we ignore that fact, and that is very important, but very rightly said we have to create. On acquisition of overseas of the raw materials for dependency is something, a conscious policy decision, there has to be a push. In Afghanistan, I'll give you an example. In Afghanistan, we do own iron ore mines, right? A agglomeration of 4-5 of us we have. China also has. What China do, and something for us to learn, China did a holistic thing. In Afghanistan, when they acquired, whosoever acquired, the security, the mining personnel, the housing, the food, everything went as a package, and their mine is working. Whereas we, okay, you for acquired, now you handle, you solve your problem of security in Afghanistan, you solve your problem how you are going to go about it, your stay, your family security, everything. I think we have to take a leaf from China. And when we are coming, like you rightly said, coming up with this kind of a policy, we have to ensure that we approach it holistically and move ahead with it. He has rightly flagged, last but not the least, on logistics and for raw material, the slurry pipelines. This is again like beneficiation pending at the last stage with the Ministry of Railways to allow the right of way along the railway lines. That will reduce the time as well as the cost, because land acquisition will not be needed. Railway has enough land, and this is something we are going to put underground all along. So in principle, I understand it has been agreed and it has become a part of this list, what you are saying. But let's see it sees the light of the day then. And in this, to put the slurry pipeline, no money is required from the budget. The industry itself will come forward and put it, because it stands to the advantage of a huge saving in terms of logistics of time and money, both. So this is also at the last stage at beneficiation. These two are the things where now today around the table everybody says yes, but the paper has to come out. So it is at that stage. So let's hope it gets accelerated and we get it fast. So I thank both Mr. Satija as well as Mr. Ashwini Kumar for very cogently flagging where we stand and where we are heading in the issues. And I compliment the policy circle for bringing out these issues. I'm very sure that your paper at the end of the story will sort of highlight where now the policymakers will have to accelerate it, the industry will stand by it because it is gaining. And this is one sector which has established that from being cyclical or becoming sick, it has come out so well and it has now overcome this tab of being a cyclical industry, not any longer, at least for India. It's not going to be cyclical at all. That argument is thrown out of the window. Another argument to be thrown out the window is the first thing I was told when I took over as Secretary is steel. This is the most polluting industry in the country. That was the first sentence which was told to me. So we had to come out from that tag also. So thank you so much, and I thank my panelists. I thank the policy circle. Thank you.